name is Gayla Haig Olson. I was in Malaysia from 1973 through 1976 for 3.5 years because I extended. And I worked in a public boarding school. I primarily had Muslim boys in it, okay? And I was a math science teacher specializing in mathematics. That's the anecdote that brings Peace Corps home to me is that just 2 years ago my boys turned 50 years old, okay? So 36 years later, I hadn't seen them since they were 14, they write me and send me a card saying, will you please come back and help us celebrate our 50th birthdays? So I was just over there. I was the only American in the group with all my Muslim friends celebrating their 50th birthday over in Malaysia 2 years ago. And I am so proud. I talked to these kids, and at the airport I would meet some of them, and one of my kids was now a very good pediatrics cardiologist who is going to Japan that day to help lead some seminars for pediatric cardiology in Japan. I mean, so these are my boys, and they're coming back to ask me to celebrate, so I think I must have made an impact on these little kids when I was over there, so that's my story.
I'm Laura King, and I was in Malaysia from 74 to 77. I was with the Peace Corps, so I took an extra year because I loved it so much. I was stationed in Seremban to teach math, and there I met a gal from Minnesota who was there also teaching math. And she was 23 and I was 43, so at the time, so we became best friends and we're still best friends all these years later. When I got to Malaysia and after training was over and when the year was to start that I was to teach math, I was put to Seremban to teach. And when I got to the school,
she needed some help, some math help.
Yeah, did I ever?
And me with my math major, I think gave you a little few hints.
Oh, you gave me lots of hints. and they said, this girl's from Minnesota. I said, oh, I'm from Wisconsin. So we felt like we were next door neighbors. and we've been next door neighbors ever since. Only now she's Wisconsin and I'm Minnesota.
Yeah, I went from Minnesota to Wisconsin. She goes from Wisconsin to Minnesota.
So she's the reason that I can come today because I don't drive anymore or anything.
Well, you know, like the other thing we did too is like I tried to get her to get a motorcycle when I was over there. She tried, but it just didn't work. So whenever I was her motorcycle chauffeur over there for a lot, so I always pushed her on the back and we'd go zooming off around the who knows everywhere. You know, we were quite the sight actually. You know, because I had this big old World War II vintage. I think it's a World War II motorcycle. Yeah, and that's what I drove over there because it was cheap.
And she taught me to hang on to it underneath and not around her. So that came to a good...
Because I start laughing and get tickling.
Yeah. And we get out in Malaysia when it rains, it pours.
Oh yeah, Laura.
And we're going around these corners.
Lorries, these
the
trucks.
roads are like this, and big lorry trucks come along, you know, I said, and started to rain, and I said, I don't know how you can see. She said, I can't. Oh, gee, thanks.
It was pouring. You know, when the monsoon seasons come, your eyelids get stuck almost.
Oh, yeah.
It's that bad. You know what I mean? So
You
it
just
was
can't
bad.
see. That's true.
Yeah, so we've known each other, since 1975, I suppose, or something like that?
74.
Oh, 74, okay.
So 74 we started.
Feels longer.
The end.
No.
Great. Things that happened were so funny because you don't understand the country and you do strange things and everybody laughs. I got on the bus and I dropped my bag and I ran up. I said, my bag's gone, my bag's gone. And the bus driver said, what? And he stopped and let me get out and go and pick up the bag that had fallen on the street and came back to the bus. And another time, I bought a fan, a great big fan. And so it was in a big box. I couldn't even see. I was going down the street carrying this big box. And I saw the bus. I ran for the bus with this big box. And the bus driver was laughing. And he said, oh, put it over here. So he gave me a place to put it so I didn't fall on my face. So we had lots of good laughs. You get to laugh at yourself, and that's what's so good to be able to do. laugh at all the things that you don't know. You think you're so smart. You have this degree and that degree, but that doesn't mean common sense. And they still appreciate the Peace Corps, even though we've been out of there for many years. And we've kept in touch and are friends with the different Malay people that we met. And I just had company from Malaysia a couple weeks ago. One of the men that I taught math with, and his wife and his daughter, who is now a medical doctor in Malaysia. This has been a great experience.